What is good, YouTube? I'm Toxic Gaming. Today I have for you a brand new deck profile of a deck I really like a lot. It is the Rise of the Fallen Tribute Stun-esque deck. I call it Fallen Stun. It's a very interesting deck that's based around the skill Rise of the Fallen. If you don't know what this skill does, it says activate this skill during your main phase, special summon a level 4 or lower fairy monster from your graveyard defense position, and gain life points equal to its original attack. This skill can only be used once per duel. So essentially, this is a Monster Reborn-esque card, because you have to summon it from your graveyard in defense mode, and it has to be fairy, and you gain life points off that. And it's crazy. It's actually really good. So you use this effect, you bring back Zolga, and Zolga's effect is when he's used for a tribute summon, you gain 2,000 life points. So if he's tributed, after being summoned from the Rise of the Fallen, you gain a total of 3,700 life points. That is nuts. You almost double your life points in this game. Like, that is crazy. And like, this deck is just so much fun to play, and it's like so good too. It's like, it does really well in the meta. I built it so it could like actually play against it, and it's like super cool. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into this deck profile and like, explain what we're doing here. So as I previously said, this is a Tribute Stun deck. So we're playing our Monarch cards, which is 1x Jinzo, 2x Kaiser Glider, but this could be any Monarch card you like in this game currently. This could be like Gap, this could be Hades, Beast of Talwar, if you like that card. That's just a normal 2400 beater. But yeah, like or Grandmark. Grandmark's in this game. He's a Stone Monarch. I'm opting for one Jinzo though to shut down trap cards because Nightmare Wheel and Zoma suck. And I'm playing Kaiser Glider, that way we can get rid of these bigger monster cards, and also to fight the spell proof if I run into it. Like, this card is probably like your bread and butter of the deck. But yeah, the other cards we play is Triple Breaker the Magical Warrior, because of its, ability to destroy spell and trap cards, get rid of the Zomas of Spirit, get rid of the Magnet Warrior field spell, get rid of the Nightmare Wheels. Like, this card here is like so good right now. If they create a ban list, I feel like he needs to be addressed because he's so good. But like, I'm not complaining that I can play him at 3. This card is so cool. Going on to another 3 we're playing in the deck is Charging Gaia the Fierce Knight. Now this is like a beatdown-esque deck. This deck is really just meant to beat our opponent to a pulp as fast as we can. We are very aggro heavy. We want to make sure we can win the game as fast as possible, because once it hits the long game, we usually do not last. Like, this deck is definitely like, I need to hit hard, I need to hit fast, and once we get past a certain point in the game, I more than likely am not going to win. The other 2 cards we're playing outside of our fairies is Sphere Kuribo. This card is to protect us again from the spell-proof monsters, because they're spell-proof. They get unaffected by spell cards. Jinzo makes them unaffected by trap cards, or trap cards just can't be used. So Sphere Kuribo just kind of like protects your monsters and puts them to defense mode, since they all suck in defense mode, and it really just helps out the deck a lot. And then lastly, we're playing our double Zolga. Now, we're playing 2 in the case that we end up accidentally drawing 1 for turn, or like in our starting hand or something like that. And that's because if we get Foolish, we can easily Foolish it to the graveyard and not have to rely on setting it face down and then hoping our opponent attacks into it and hoping it doesn't get knocked or anything like that. So yeah, double Foolish, like I said, we want to get our Foolish as fast as possible. That way we can get our Zolga in graveyard as fast as possible. Once this commander comes out, if it comes out, because it's still rumored, then we would definitely just take a Zolga out and put a Disc Commander in instead. But yeah, double Foolish for right now. For our trap lineup, we're playing double Floodgate Trap Hole. I like this card a lot. It can really help win some games, but when you go into siding out cards, I recommend siding out your Floodgate Trap Hole, especially in games like, say, Moss, say, like XYZ, or say, what's another one? Magnets. If you play against any of those three decks, just take out your Floodgate Trap Holes and put in your Lost Winds. Keep them in, though, if you're playing against Spellproof Armor, because you can actually use them to flip the Big Birds face down, and then they only have like 1,200 defense, I think. So every single monster in your deck climbs it, except for Kuribo. So it's a really good card to out that card, I feel like. But yeah, Lost Winds at 3 in this deck, for obvious reasons. We're playing triple Zomas of Spirit, and to end off the main deck. This card is crazy in this format. This card should not be in speed duels whatsoever. That's my personal opinion, but I'm sure other people will agree with me. This card is too good, and if you're not playing it at 3 in your deck, what are you doing? Like, I feel like even the decks that are playing Jinzo at 3 are still playing Zoma at 3. Like, this card is just so powerful, and I feel like you need to be playing it at 3, especially in this beatdown variant of the deck. Moving on to our side deck, we're playing triple Lost Wind like I have previously mentioned. This is so we can shut down the XYZ, shrink the magnets whenever they're summoned off of the field spell, shrink the Moss whenever it's summoned, because like Moss is, for whatever reason, still the best deck in the meta. But yeah, those are Skull Servants. It stops, like, it completely turns off their king. I know we're not seeing a lot of Skull Servant, but that's another deck that this just stops. But yeah. Oh, and decks like Vile Despair, which is why we play Soul Release, because I hate playing against Vile Despair. I'm not going to lie to anybody here. That is one of my... Zombies in general is just such a Stally-esque deck, so I play Soul Release at 1, just for that reason. And I've been playing it at 1 recently in a lot of the decks I've been building, so you might see more of this card in my decks. And then lastly, we play double Cosmic Cyclone. That way we can just, shit on Moss a little bit more, because I don't understand why that deck's still good. So we play Cosmic Cyclone at 2 just to stop it. But yeah, also obviously we play our 6 cards. That way we can fake out our opponent to think we have Waking, even though I think nobody's really on Waking right now except for my friend who plays Spellproof. But oh well. Without further ado, I'm going to jump right into this deck profile. I'm at Deck Showcase, by the way. But this is against a guy named Yami Mokuba. I had a lot of fun playing against him. He's a really neat guy. We were talking a little bit about his deck and everything before we got into this, because we played a match beforehand, and it was just a lot of fun. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into this. This is like a quick match just because I'm like running out of time right now. Honestly, this video might also get like brought up a little later, but he like draws double Parasite, draws perfectly Ultimate Grey Moss, Cosmic Cyclone, sets the Cosmic Cyclone, and we draw the Floodgate and the Zoma. We set the Floodgate, and then we set the Zoma, and then we set the Zolga face down, and the turn off, and then on the end phase he uses Cosmic Cyclone, paying 1,000 life points and then hitting the middle card. That will banish our Floodgate Trap Hole. He draws for turn, drawing into the Zoma the Spirit, sets the Zoma, and then passes turn off to us. We draw for turn, drawing into the Sphere Kuribo. We summon the Breaker the Magical Warrior, use his effect to pop the back row, which was the Zoma, flip the Zolga, and then battle phase for game. Yeah, that's why we have Breaker and Zolga out right now. Like I said, the beatdown engine, this is essentially it. He helped us out with the Cosmic there. So yeah, that's going to be game there. Going on into game 2. He even makes mention of it right here, saying, well, rip. Like, it happens, buddy. We all brick. And it's just part of Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's okay. Going into game 2, though, we draw into the Foolish, so we have our Zolga and Graveyard ready to go. Double set the Zomas, and then we pass turn. We're not going to summon the Charging Gaia, so he doesn't Parasite us. Immediately activates Cosmic Cyclone. This guy is crazy for opening Cosmic Cyclone. Hits the middle card again, banishing it. And then proceeds to set the Zoma the Spirit and the Nightmare Wheel face down. He then sets Man-Eater Bug face down defense mode and passes turns. I then summon my Zoma Spirit to the field in defense mode and then draw for turn. Now here's a misplay I kind of do in this game, but I feel like it matters. I actually use the Rise of the Fallen here. And in doing so, I summoned the Zolga. And the reason why is because I was being cheeky. I was like, I'm going to tribute summon both these monsters, summon out my Charging Gaia, gain my life points, like, haha. And then I literally sat there and thought, I was like, that's probably one of the dumbest plays I can do. I'm like, this card is probably Old Vindictive, and like he has doubled spell and trap cards. Like, there would be no point. So I just normal summon the Gaia. And then I switched my Zoma to attack mode. Like, I already used my skill and brought it out, and I was like, why am I such a dummy? But it happens. And it turns out he did have the old Vindictive Magician, but in this case, it's Man-Eater Bug. So, I did also go through this thinking about this being old V. And so I attacked with Zoma first. That way he's like, has to opt to either get rid of the Zoma or get rid of the Gaia. So, that's what I would go for there. End phase, he draws into Breaker the Magical Warrior, which is the perfect out for him right now. Literally drew the perfect card, uses the skill, shuffles the bug back, draw the Parasite, which is even better, but he can't Parasite here, because, like, I mean, he could have. I don't know. The guy uses the Breaker here, gets rid of the Zoma, and then attacks into the Zolga. We draw for turn, draw the Sphere Kuribo, attack with the Gaia, and then he loses it, and then pass the turn off to the opponent. He draws into another Parasite, uses the Parasite here, equipping to the Gaia, and then tributes off the Gaia with the Cocoon, summoning the Perfectly Ultimate. Then tries to use Parasite Paranoid here to summon the other one from hand. I don't know. I should bring it up. This guy got an errata saying that like once you use the skill to summon, you can't normal or special summon monsters the turn you use that skill. So this is an illegal play. So I let him know. He returns it back to hand. Attacks for 3,500 direct. We take it because we gain infinite life points with this deck, and then we draw for turn, drawing into the breaker. We summon the breaker here actually, and we're just going to just blind MST, end up hitting the Zoma, which is really good for us, and then we pass turn. We can protect the breaker with the Sphere Kuribo, so it's fine. He uses the Perfectly Ultimate to attack with the breaker, which we end up Sphere Kuribo changing it to defense mode. I don't know why he didn't Parasite onto the breaker unless he really thought that we had the Sphere Kuribo here, and that's the only reason why I just feel like he wouldn't, because he would just go for game then, right? I draw for turn, drawing into Jinzo. I needed Kaiser Glider here, and so I just scoop at this point. It's like, there's no point in me continuing this. What's going to happen next turn is he's just going to summon another monster or Parasite the breaker, like I said, and then just hit me for game. So, would have been no point in really continuing this match, or this game, so we go into game 3. So, starting off game 3, I lost, so I chose to go second, so we make our opponent go first, I think. And then he summons the Kaiku, and then sets the Cosmic Cyclone. I draw for turn, and in my head I'm like, well, I have 3 spell and trap cards, and this guy has opened Cosmic Cyclone every single game. So I set Lost Wind into, or I summon Breaker. I'm not using its effect, because I know this is Cosmic. I set Lost Wind in the middle, because he always hits the middle, and then I set Zoma and set Cosmic Cyclone. This is our bread and butter here, so I wanted to make sure this was in a zone that he wasn't going to hit. We then enter into battle phase and attack the Kaiku, making him lose 100 life points. And then proceeding the end phase, I literally go to end phase because I know what this is, wait for him, and he doesn't do anything, so I hit turn and he activates Cosmic Cyclone, hitting the middle. So this is just something for everybody to keep in mind. Just if you're playing Cosmic Cyclone, try to roll a dice or something. Make it random every single time. That way your opponent can't just like play, like metagame you, you know? Metagaming is a completely legal way to play, by the way, so. Opponent draws for the Kaiku, uses the Parasite here, and then equips the Parasite onto the breaker. But we Cosmic Cyclone on resolution, and then, yeah, we're good. Summons the breaker, and then he then attacks the breaker into the breaker, destroying both monsters. On the end phase, we summon our Zoma, because at this point, we can go for game. I'm switching my Zoma, or I summon my breaker, switch my Zoma to attack mode, and then I win the match. That's, again, the beatdown engine in this. This deck is really just supposed to be an aggro-esque deck. And then Zoma in this situation was really good for us. Like, in the last game, it even, like, made the opponent not summon the Moss immediately because Zoma was just such a threat and we had so much life points. So yeah, like Zoma in this deck is very powerful. This deck in general, I feel like is like a very, like it's tier 2, tier 2.5. If enough people like work on it, like get an engine going for it, I'm pretty sure this deck can be like very competitively viable. And so if you guys want to test it out, 100% do it. Like this deck is so fun to play. I have so much fun playing Tribute Stun decks, and it's pretty much like Shadow Reborn Monarchs. But you know, it's a little bit, in my opinion, I feel like it's better. So Shadow Reborn Monarchs just like can monster reborn any card from any graveyard, but I think you can't deal damage that turn or something. That's the downside. This deck here just says summon a fairy, tribute it, gain a bunch of life points. Like this is like a really fun and exciting deck to be able to play. So I feel like this format right now is kind of solved right now. I feel like everybody's like on to Magnet and Moss at the moment. Like they think those are the best 2 decks. XYZ and Spellproof both are also high contending decks at the moment. So I feel like this deck just does enough to like fight against the meta. And is, like I said, very fun to play, very roguish, and you know, it killed Moss here. Like we won the match against Moss. Yes, they bricked game 1, but hey, I could have bricked 2. Like it's Yu-Gi-Oh! It happens to everybody, and it's like I would have made another match where I would like be able to like even be able to get Kaiser Glider out, you know. But it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun deck building, especially this deck. And yeah, I have a couple of cool stuff coming up in the future too. I have a couple of product openings coming in the near future. I have a new series coming out for the channel in the near future, so I hope you're all excited for that. And yeah. Without further ado, I'm just going to end off this. If you guys like this kind of content, make sure you leave a like. If you like me, make sure you subscribe. And as also, would you all stay awesome, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.